Hello, I'm Deborah Pascali Bonaro of Orgasmic Birth, here to help you positively prepare for birth and parenting. And today I'm really excited to have a special guest who's really special to me because we've had opportunities to meet in person and really follow along on Caroline's journey. She's both an amazing birth photographer, a hypnobirthing teacher, a placenta specialist, and she teaches web shops for pregnant moms and doulas with products to pamper mothers before and after delivery. She gives talks all about birth to both birth workers and parents. And what's really touched me as we met years ago is that you attended a doula workshop and you said that workshop forever changed your life, Carolyn. And being a doula, those words, I went, wow. First of all, welcome and tell us a little bit more about you and how being a doula changed your life.
Thank you. Thank you for this invitation. And I'm really happy to be here with you. And like you said, I was starting as a bird photographer 5 years ago, and I was looking for a workshop about bird photography, but I couldn't find one. And then for coincidence, I ran into a doula training, and I said, okay, while I'm waiting for the parents to give birth, I might as well help them as a doula. And then that weekend that I had the training, it completely changed my life. It was so much more than I expected. It was like a new me that I discovered. And that's what I do most since 5 years ago, since that training. I'm a bird photographer still, but I am more a doula now. So most of my couples come to me for doula work. So that's really, really great.
Yeah, really great. And being a doula, right? I can see the light in you.
Yeah.
What a gift we have, right? To be able to support people at such an incredible time of their life.
So do you say this? Nothing comes by coincidence?
Yes, I love that.
Everything has a reason. And that doula training that I coincidentally came by on the internet, it was not a coincidence. It was meant to be, and it was my path that drove me there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I find that from so many people. People end up at doula workshops for so many reasons and so much shifts in them. And I know that even before you became a doula, you had already given birth to your first son. And I'd love for you to just share with everybody. Birth stories are such important moments to both share and learn from. What was your first birth like?
Yes, it was a typical hospital birth, first child. So I was very well prepared of being pregnant and being a mom. But the chapter of birth, I left it in between. I didn't read about it. So it all came over me. At the time I gave birth, I went to the hospital and they proposed to break my membranes. And then all of a sudden, everything went very fast. The waves came and came. It was very intense. I took an epidural, of course. The avalanche of interventions was there. And then everything went fine. After a couple of hours, I had 10 centimeters. I pushed my baby out. I got a real bad episiotomy as well. But I had a happy birth. I had a positive birth, but afterwards, during the doula training and after everything I knew back then, I realized that everything could have been different, and that changed my way of how I viewed my first birth. So with my second child, I thought, no, let's do it. Let's do it over again, and let's make it right this time. So I made some choices, different choices.
And isn't it, I mean, we as doulas know that so much that so many people don't realize what they don't know and how what we don't know in a birth can actually hold us back from having all the joy and the pleasure that we desire.
Exactly. And I do now, but I was like all moms, like hearing the bad stories, hearing the horror, traumatic birth experiences, and it frightened me. as a first-time mom, it frightened me, and I didn't want to read anything about it, and I didn't want to hear anything about it. So I didn't look into how beautiful it could have been. And now I know as a doula that this is so important, that we teach people, parents, that it can be beautiful. It can be a positive experience as long as you prepare yourself.
Yes.
Mm.
So now tell us, you had another birth now, the
Yeah,
birth of your daughter, Aileen. Can you share with us a bit of what was that birth like?
it was amazing. The pregnancy was challenging because it was a different process. I had to work through this to this birth, through pregnancy, and it was an entire process to make choices, because in the beginning I was just going to the gynecologist that I knew for the first birth, but I realized that she was not backing up my ideas, and she was not helping me in getting my own wishes done. So I searched a lot. I did some investigation. I hired a doula. She helped me a lot through this process, and we finally made a decision, my husband and I, to go to a hospital where I knew the protocols were very mild. They were a very open hospital near the beach, and I witnessed a few birds there, and I knew, like, wow, water birds here are amazing. I can even walk to the beach if I want to, and that's what happened. So we we booked a weekend at the beach when I was 40 plus weeks, and I, deep inside myself, I knew it was going to happen. This was the moment. But then it started very slowly. It was a birth of like 13 hours, um, approximately. I walked to the beach in the morning when I had 5 centimeters, just to relax. I met my doula. She massaged me. It was so beautiful. Yeah. I
And what did
even
that feel like to be on the beach and be in labor?
Amazing. It was a feeling. I was stepping into the water alone. I said to my crew, I call them my birthing crew, just leave me 1 second alone. And then I stepped with my bare feet into the water, and the waves came, and they went on and off and on and off again. And then I had the confidence, like, okay, you're in nature now. You can do this. A million women before you have done it. So yeah, at that moment, my birth photographer arrived, and then I said, okay, my team is complete now. This can go on now. We can start doing this. And then we went back to the hospital, and yeah.
And what happened next? So you got
Well,
back there. What was that like, moving from the beach to the hospital?
Well, it was only 1 mile away, but it took us half an hour to walk through the surges. Every 10 meters, I had a contraction. So it was really nice to go back to the hospital, because I knew this was the next step of meeting my daughter. And in the meantime, the contractions changed. So I knew this walk from the beach to the hospital changed the position of my girl, and effectively they checked, and she was not a stargazer anymore. How do you say this
Yeah,
in English? We call it
yeah,
stargazing.
I love stargazing as a
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful way,
it's
but we
cute.
often say sunny side up or
Yes.
posterior.
Yeah, voila. She was sunny side up, and then during this walk, she changed position to the optimal position. She was still a little bit not in the optimal position with her little neck. So my doula took the rebozo, and she shook me while I was just on one knee up and one knee down. So it was really intense, but I could feel her move inside of me. And then she was in the correct position. And then was a big difference with my first birth of my son. They proposed to break my waters again. So I had a déjà vu. I had the feeling like, oh, this happened before, and I knew it was going to be intense. The epidural from the first time. So I said, nah, let's discuss this. Okay, what's going to happen? But I was in labor for already 10 hours, and I was getting exhausted. And then I said, yeah, okay, it's fine. But the feeling I have now about this decision is so much different. I had the control of what was going to happen. Nobody did this to me. You understand? So yeah,
Yes.
the
This is so
feeling
important,
afterwards
right?
is, oh yeah, it
It
is what
makes such
helped me. Yeah, it is what helped me to get through the process and to accept what was going to happen, because I knew it was going to be intense and more intense, and the waves were going to come very more quickly, and but I knew this was my decision and my responsibility, and I knew my girl was in the right position because we did the rebozo, which we sat on the ball, we did some things, so I knew the head was right in front of the entrance or the exit, let's call it. Um, so that I knew it was just one step in the process that I needed to make. And indeed, after I think 1 hour, I was ready to push.
wow. And give us, you shared like with the rebozo, you had one knee up and one knee down.
Yes.
So were you moving around in your birthing room?
It was a big birthing room. Well, this particular hospital is specialized in water births. So they have a big jacuzzi, a whirlpool actually, where I could relax. But before that, I went on a ball, I went in the shower, I walked to the beach. I did lots and lots of movement things, and the rebozo as well. I walked in the hallway with my husband. It was, yeah, I didn't lay down 1 minute, I think, luckily. And that is a big contrast with the birth of Matthias, my son.
And when did you talk about the birth pool and that, when did you get in the water?
I went in the water quite late. I think I had 7-8 centimeters. Dilatation, I don't know exactly because I wasn't touched very often. But after the rebozo and the breaking of my waters, I felt, okay, this is going to be intense. And then I went into the pool with my husband. He came with me, and I really appreciate it. And then we sat there for, I don't know, I don't remember, I think 1 hour. Yeah. While I was really converted into myself, I was, yeah, completely away of the world.
And, people always say that water does take them to this different place. What did the water feel like? Did it feel different from being on air, so to speak, to being in water?
Yes, it felt so much warmer, but in all kind of dimensions, because I was so close to my husband. I felt his warmth. I felt the water on my belly that I did not have inside anymore because of the rupture of the membranes. Um, but I must admit that maybe my expectations were so high of the bath and of the whirlpool, because I saw so many women that had so much comfort in the water, that I was a little bit disappointed about the comfort. But then afterwards, my husband said, yeah, maybe if you were on dry land, it would have been more intense. And I think that's true. So it was just because I was so much, in the end, I had 10 centimeters almost, that it felt intense, but I was so happy to be in the water.
And take us now to starting to push. Were you still in the water? Did you get out? Where did you birth?
Well, you have the whirlpool in this room, but you have another birthing bath. So I needed to switch from bath to another bath. And in between, I was not feeling that well anymore. I fainted almost, and they saw me that my eyes were not responding anymore. I felt really weak because I hadn't eaten a lot. It was 30 degrees in the room. The sun was shining, so it was really hot. And I felt a little bit weak, very, very weak, actually. So then I laid down, and they gave me some washing clothes on my head, and I touched my doula's hand and everything, but I was not responding very well. I closed my eyes all the time. And all of a sudden, when I was laying down, I felt another urge that I hadn't felt before ever again. So it was the head of my baby was pushing. And then the midwife saw me and was like, oh my God, this screaming, but no, it's not screaming the word I'm looking for. Like the prehistoric woman that is
Primal.
Yeah, primal. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. The primal reaction to push the baby out. And then the midwife saw the baby's head, and then she called the midwife and she said, okay, now it's time to go to the other pool. And then I was wide awake again. I was ready. Yeah.
And so you birthed in this other pool. What kind of position were you in? Was it comfortable?
Well, it was a comfortable position. It was not the optimal position, like on hands and knees, but you must know in this hospital, it's the only hospital in Europe where they have a transparent bathtub. And I really, really wanted a picture from my child being born in this transparent bathtub. So I didn't have any much options. Didn't have many options. So I was on my back, but still supported by the water. So it was, for me at the time, I was fainting. I was really weak. It was the most comfortable position I could be in. So for me, it was good.
Fantastic. And what I'm hearing is, right, when it's your choice and it feels good to you, it's so different than having other people make decisions or put you in positions without listening to your body.
Yes, indeed. And it was for me the most comfortable position because I could see my baby being born. I could see my husband. I could see on the other side my doula, and I could see my birth team around me. And that was very important for me. I lacked a little bit of confidence while pushing. So I needed the strength of the people around me saying, come on, you can do this.
Ah, so beautiful. And if you think about all that birth was, and I know it's hard to kind of summarize, but if you had to just pick a few words, what words come to you when you think about Aline's birth?
Strength. It was strength and trust also, because I trusted the process no matter how long it took. And I knew I had the confidence to do it. I also had a really good connection with other women who were not with me at that time, but we stayed in touch through a messenger group that my doula updated regularly. And I could feel all these women that lighted a candle for me and sang songs. And those were the same women from my blessing way. So I could feel their strength. So yeah, it was a really strong emotional feeling. Yeah.
Beautiful. And all of our work with orgasmic birth has really opened up for many people to talk about the pleasure. And I love, you said, the strength and the trust and the joy, and that orgasmic birth is to birth in a positive way, as you did, with your own decisions in your own power, with love and connection. And I love how you even talked about the connection not only to the birth team and your partner and your doula, but to those in other places that were holding you in their thoughts and their heart. So with that definition, how does it feel to you? Do you feel your birth was an orgasmic birth?
With that definition, definitely. It was such a beautiful, positive birth. I could recommend it to anybody. It was a healing birth as well. It was, yeah, most beautiful experience of my life, as it should be, as birth should be, I think. Not some
Definitely.
traumatic experience or something you cannot look forward to. If I would be pregnant again, I really should look forward to your birth. Yeah.
Yes. So I have a question, and I know that you do so much work now as a doula and teaching both doulas and other birth keepers and parents to prepare for birth. And again, it's hard to summarize just one thing when I know there's so much to prepare. But if there was something that you've learned through your own births and your work as a doula, to those people that are pregnant and that are listening today, what would be one thing that you would say to them as advice in preparing for their own birth?
Confidence. Have confidence in the process, in nature, and in yourself and your birthing team. Get yourself a good birthing team and work with them through the process and trust the process.
Beautiful. And is there anything else that you'd like to share that we didn't cover about either of your births?
I want to share that I had a half a lotus birth too. And I want to also tell people that this is possible in a hospital. Just ask for it and find the right care provider who's giving you the chance to do it. So we cut the umbilical cord when everything was calm in the room. We were happy, everything was okay. And then my husband cut the cord. We first sang a song and then he cut the cord. So it was a beautiful moment too. Not in a rush, just we took our time and then everything was so beautiful. So please know that you can have one.
Beautiful. And can you tell us, because not everybody knows what a lotus birth is, and about how long it was from the baby born till you cut the cord?
A lotus birth is when you don't cut the cord at all. You just let nature do its thing, and then the cord will fall off after a couple of days. And half a lotus is when you cut the cord whenever you want to. So we chose to do it after 2 hours. So first the placenta was born, and then we cut the cord. But we took our time. It was, I think, 2 hours after she was born. And I was taken care of also, so we could really enjoy the moment and live the moment also. Yeah.
Beautiful. And definitely, I want people to be able to find you and connect with your beautiful work, both as a photographer and a teacher. Can you just share your website, your social media? How can people find and follow you?
Well, I am known as Caro Mama, like Caro from my name Caroline, and Mom from Mama, of course. So they can, whenever they search for Caro Mama, they'll find me. I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page.
Well, this was so wonderful. And I know your beautiful images just woven together with your words so that people hear like how you were feeling, right? Not just seeing, but understanding will really inspire so many. And our birth stories are such gifts for ourselves, right? To tell them each time, but it's such great learning tools for others. And I love how you shared, like sometimes it's the fearful ones that then stop us from learning. And I really appreciate you sharing your experiences and how birth can be so positive and transformative.
I'm so thankful to all the moms whose birth I can share in images. It's such a great gift to all new moms to show them how beautiful a birth can look like. And I'm so grateful for that I can do that. I'm a part of that.
So our births really make such a difference often in how we feel about our body, about ourselves, and that can impact our relationship after having a baby. So knowing kind of your birth journey, did you feel any difference after your second birth, the birth of your daughter? How did you feel?
Yeah, I did in so many ways. First of all, with our second child, I didn't feel like a mom in the beginning. The connection was really far away. After 3 months, I felt I'm a mom of this kid because he was sick and then he needed me. But after the birth of Eileen, I had a connection from the beginning. I said, okay, my God, we did this together, you and me, baby. And my husband too. We did this as a team. And this changes so much in the relationship between father and child, mother and child, but also between my husband and I. He helped me through the process. He was there for me without many words, but the things he did. And also I think that the connection between him and my daughter is strong because of that. I also had a lot of more confidence in my own body because I knew, when you have an episiotomy the first time, you think the second time, oh my God, what is this? I'm going to tear. I don't want this anymore, but the risks are there. And everybody tells you that there is a high risk of tearing after you have an episiotomy the first time. So I was afraid. But afterwards, I had just a little tear, no episiotomy at all. I didn't feel pain. I was completely okay afterwards. And then my confidence in my body healed, you know, like, okay, this is normal. I can do this. And other women can too.
Thank you. Because it's so important, right? We talk so much about birth, but after birth, how our birth goes makes a difference. And after birth is when we need that incredible connection and intimacy with our partners
Yes.
to journey in parenting.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Ring the bell and subscribe for more orgasmic birth content so you can positively prepare for birth and parenting. And follow us on Instagram at Orgasmic Birth. And if you'd like some extra surprises, go to orgasmicbirth.com.